I'm in Salad and I saw Star Trek, the original series, The City on the Edge of Forever. It is directed by Joseph Penvey, written by Harlan Ellison, and if you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. This episode starts and we're following the USS Enterprise. They're having trouble navigating through some time waves, as it's explained in this episode. We have Sulu. He's having a hard time trying to navigate, and a big explosion of the council. And what's fun is that he just goes to the side. And we have Dr. McCoy. Hey, Dr. McCoy, fix Sulu. And that's nice because he has this corazine. It's a specific type of chemical that makes it so you go up if you're unconscious. It makes you go awake if you're unconscious. And that's what Sulu is given by Dr. McCoy. It's just supposed to jumpstart the heart or whatever. But then another tumble. And looks like Dr. McCoy got a lot. I mean, all of the entire veil of corazine in his system. And he's just going maniac like a madman. And I'm like, oh boy, I hope he doesn't die. I mean, I wonder what this does to him. I wonder what type of effect this will have on his bloodstream. And you get an immediate look of how this chemical affects Dr. McCoy. He's got like hives breaking out all over his body and a lot of like red patches. And he's acting insane. He's like, ah! And it takes a lot of people to try to contain him into the sick bay. But of course, he's able to sneak around because he's like, I want to escape! I want to escape! And that's a side effect of the corazine, is wanting to escape. And the transporter, it's set to like the middle of this time distortion. And Dr. McCoy's like, I'm gonna run! I'm gonna run. He knows how to use the transporter. He runs, and then he goes to the planet. And it's like, oh boy, this is crazy. What are you doing, McCoy? I do like McCoy as the vehicle for the plot to move forward, because we got rational Kirk, rational Spock, rational rest of the crew of the USS Enterprise, and then we have Madman McCoy. And everyone's just trying to get McCoy. You know, everyone loves McCoy. I love McCoy. I want him to be safe. I want him to be happy, and most importantly, I want the Kirk, Spock, the rest of the USS Enterprise to get McCoy. What's fun about this is that they have to go beam down to where McCoy even landed at. And when they land on this planet, I love this. We have this circle, it's like a stone circle. It's lovely. Kirk asks a question, and it answers. And it's like, what is this device? What are you? First of all, it's literally 1 million years old. Literally 1 million years old. They say like 10,000 centuries. And I'm like, whoo. This is before human civilization. This is fun. So we have this ring. I'm gonna call it a ring. I don't know what to call it. It's a ring, but this ring is sentient. It is the guardian of forever. It'll be able to take anyone to any time, anywhere. You know, it's fun. I like this. And we have Kirk and Spock are just asking it simple questions, you know, nice, simple questions. Spock brings up his tricorder to record what's going on. He's like, oh, this will be useful, you know. And then freaking McCoy, they were looking for McCoy the entire time on this planet's surface, and he's just sneaking around, evading capture, and then he just runs through the portal, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And of course, they have to go find him. They're like, okay, well, what did McCoy do? Where did he land? Obviously, he's changed some history, because now this Guardian of Forever is saying that the USS Enterprise, the United States of Federation, all of this stuff is now gone because of what McCoy did in the past. And it's like, I wonder what McCoy did to change the past so drastically. One man can have such an impact on the future. And I really like this episode because it really hones down that message. It really beats the message into the ground, like, yeah, you have the power to change the future, just like Dr. McCoy does. I like the rules that the Guardian of Forever has to play by. He can't go any faster throughout time. He can't go back in time. He just has to restart the sequence of from the beginning of time to the end of time. And we have to get an exact time period in order to intercept McCoy and make sure he doesn't change the future. So of course we have Spock and Kirk go first. We have a team of 6 total on this planet, including Spock and Kirk. And I like the instructions that Kirk gives to the other people. If we're not successful, then it's your time. It's your attempt next, actually. It's your turn. I'm rooting for Spock and Kirk. I really want them to be successful. I do like seeing how much stress they are under trying to understand, predict where McCoy is going to land in the future. So they've landed like maybe a couple weeks before McCoy appears. I do like this. So they are weird. They're in the 1930s now. They get transferred to the 1930s and they're obviously wearing clothes that are so out of place. They're wearing like the most saturated colors in the least saturated setting. And so people are looking at them like, what's going on here? And of course, you have the big brain of Kirk. He's like, I'm gonna steal those clothes. I like Spock. I like Spock so much. He's like, what are you doing, sir? You're committing a crime? And Kirk's like, yes, it is necessary. And I like the difference between Kirk and Spock whenever they confront an issue. Obviously, Spock is very logical, and so the logical thing would not be stealing those clothing. But Kirk, he's the type of person who has to take control of the situation and will do whatever is necessary in order to survive the situation and also for the good of his ship. And so he does what is necessary, and what is necessary is he has to steal these clothes in order to blend in. So they go into this basement and they're changing in this basement, and there's this chick who's here. She's like, oh, hi. I'm the owner of a soup kitchen. What are you doing here? I like Kirk. He's so honest. Yeah, we stole these clothes. The police are after us because we stole these clothes and we have no money. And so she's like, yeah, well, I'll pay you to clean the basement and then I'll get you some food. Come upstairs, you know? And then they do their job and it's a soup kitchen. I'm like, this is beautiful. I love this lady. She's the head of the soup kitchen. I'm like, whew, this is a generous woman. Like, this is the lady I would want to discover me from the past. If I was in the past from the future, I went from the future into the past. This is the lady that I would want to encounter. And so this is some seriously good luck. Meanwhile, we have Kirk and Spock are trying to get into the tricorder to see what time period that McCoy's at, and also what happened after McCoy comes. You know what's fun? I like how McCoy changes history. He makes this chick not get hit by a car, and so causes a peace movement in the United States, which delays its entrance into World War II, which causes Germany to have an atomic bomb and destroy everything. Just one little thing causes this big event, and I love it. Spock is pretty much just using what he calls bear skins and stone knives to get into the tricorder knowledge of the future. It takes him a while. It takes a lot of electricity fires, but he gets his knowledge, and I really like that because it does show the struggle. This episode shows the struggle that Spock and Kirk are going through. Spock is having a technical struggle, and Kirk is having a romantic struggle. Kirk is falling in love with this lady. They're hanging out, they're having strolls, they're getting to know each other very well, and Kirk is such a charmer. He's big charm energy, he's charming this lady, they're kissing, it looks beautiful, and Kirk's like, I'm in love with this lady. Kirk is being told that she has to be hit by a car or a truck or whatever, and he's like, man, this feels bad because I would want to save her from being hit by a vehicle and dying. But this is for the good of humanity, for the future, the good of my crew, making sure they all exist. So I like Kirk's sacrifice here. He's like, I am content to making sure that she gets hit by a car, even though it makes me feel really bad. And then, what's fun, they're walking, and then, oh, McCoy's across the street. He just appears out of nowhere. Oh, McCoy is there. And obviously, we have Kirk and Spock. Don't notice that McCoy is in the time period that they are. They're distracted. They're trying to find McCoy, but McCoy is here, and this chick is like, oh, well, I'll take you to a place where you can lay down and rest. And after he lays down and rests, he's like all fine. He's not at all infected with the Cordrazine that he injected himself. So he's all nice and sober and all that jazz. He's all good. And then he walks out of the place and he's like, just, you know, Dr. McCoy. And we have this chick plus Spock and Kirk are walking. They see McCoy. Spock and Kirk run across the road. I'm like, jaywalking, that's a crime, don't you know? But who cares? But more importantly, though, they meet up with McCoy, and then this chick is trying to follow them, is about to get hit by a truck. Kirk has to stop McCoy from saving her, and then she just dies. And I'm like, aw, man, this is so sad, but also good for the universe, good for specifically the Federation, for its existence, which I like. And I like McCoy's like, what did you do? Do you know what you did? Jim, what do you know what you did? And Spock's like, yeah, he know what he did. And I'm like, oh man, this is great. And so they've restored time to its natural order, and then they go back through the Guardian of Forever, and then, oh, you did it. You changed time to back to where it was before McCoy went into the portal and ruined everything. But everything is now handy-dandy, hunky-dory, and now we can go back to the Enterprise and get the heck out of there. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. I like this episode a lot. It explores a lot of concepts within this episode. There's time travel, there's ladies, romantic interests, there's 1930s, there's men out of time, out of place, and people looking at them. I really like that about this episode. Overall, this is a very fun episode to watch. And now I think differently about that Guardian of Forever. I thought he was just like not talking at all. He only answers questions that are asked of him. And I like that Kirk's the person asks him questions, and then he's like, oh, finally, someone asks me a question. Finally, yes, I'll answer your questions. You just have to ask me all the questions. And so I really like this episode a lot. I think I gotta give this episode, it is a great episode. This episode gets an 8.9 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. The platform really likes that. If you want to fast track a movie review, you can do that for $20 redeals on patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you'd like to help support the daily grindiness of all them daily movies, go to this link tree. Find the way you can help support the daily grind of all them daily movies, so you can go here. And until next time, mint salad sauce. You like to my salad, croutons, and bacon bits. Boop. Beam me up.